But on Planet Virginian, this is a thing that happens.
Yes, on Planet Have Gun Will Travel, this is a thing you can do.
So Planet Little House on the Prairie. Oh, God, I just burned the good one. Damn it.
Hello. This is a show called Is That Some Kind of Japanimation Thing? A show that is watching anime in 2024, but remembers watching anime in 2004, and is trying to reconcile those experiences. Please listen. My name is Scott.
I am Justin.
And this show is sponsored by HobbyLink Japan, your source for any number of figures, model kits, snacks, merch, cosplay supplies. And in particular, I'm going to highlight the 1/8 Art FX Nicholas D. Wolfwood Renewal Package version. This is a 1/8 scale statue from Kotobukiya, and it looks good. It's Nick D. Wolfwood. It's got the cross. It's got really great sculpts on the canvas around it, and just him looking badass. And it, if you use the link in the description, we will receive a small commission, and that is how you can help us make this show. Or not, whatever. We're not. This is not our day job. We're not desperate for that. But you could.
Anything that comes in out of this will purely go to cover Scott's transmission costs.
Something like that.
Hey, next time, can we do a waifu mousepad?
Ooh, we should do a waifu. I should look for waifu mouse. We should do waifu mouse pads. I'm setting up the layout for the website. We're recording these well in advance, and I'm setting up the layout for the website, which allows me to, of course, place banner ads. And gotta have some booby mouse pads. Gotta have those. Yaoi paddles are banned at cons, but can we sell yaoi paddles? Trying to explain yaoi paddles to young people. Speaking of 20 years and trying to reconcile the experience. Yeah, no, you just had boat oars with sex acts written on them, and you'd walk around and hit people with them. That's a thing we allowed.
I assume there was consent involved. People were like, this is funny.
When
they crossed that line is when they said, oh, well, no. We realize there's an opportunity here that you assholes are going to take advantage of, so no.
Well, they're banned, so we can clearly infer how much consent was involved in their use. So we're returning to Trigun, 1998's Trigun.
To the world of Trigun, this unnamed world that has double dollars.
The world has a name. It's
Planet.
It does not come up in the text at all, but it is called Planet Gunsmoke, which is probably too on the nose.
You know, you could be just dragging me along. You could just say that, and I'm like, obviously, I trust Scott implicitly for everything he says. Planet Gunsmoke, sure.
Yeah,
I would also have bought Planet Bonanza.
Planet Sergio Leone.
Yeah. Planet Hateful Eight, although that would have involved time travel shenanigans, I think.
Yeah, there's some shenanigans in here. But the important thing is we are going to jump back in with episode 9, Murder Machine. I want to point out that much like character names, all of the episode titles are in English from Jump. So the same title plays on either version of either version, the broadcast Japanese or the home video English. It's just, there's no Japanese titles for these. It's just Murder Machine.
Murder Machine.
Hope you can read it. This episode was directed by Shigeki Awai, who has done so much stuff. I'm going to read some titles and job descriptions just so you get an idea of how much he's done. He does keyframes on the 100 Girlfriends Who Really, 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 Really Love You.
Okay, is that a show? I need you to back up on that. That's a series of words. Okay.
That is a real show. It is on the maybe list for season 2. We'll see. He is the assistant AD on Excel World. 3 different Beyblades. Keyframes on Birdie Wing. Keyframes on Black Lagoon Season 2.
Sorry, keyframes? Is that an animation role, or is
Oh,
that...
yeah. So that is an animation role. A keyframe is it is a you draw the most important frame. I'll say. So you draw whether that's like the wind up to a punch or an impact of a punch. Let's say those are the two keyframes, and then you would hand off if it's you hand off the intervening half a second to a junior employee or a South Korean. Which is called in-betweens. That's called in-betweens.
There you go. I'm learning about anime.
I have explained a thing, and I want to thank Justin for doing his job of interrupting me to explain key terms.
Now, wait a second here.
Just one more thing.
What are these robots we're talking about? Who's this Carl Masek guy, and why do you get so angry every time you mention him?
Oh, that is also on the list for Season 2 as a maybe. He's done some episodes on Season 2 and 3 of Devil is a Part-Timer, El Hazard, which is an old classic, one of the more recent Fooly Coolies. Key animation on Golden Boy. That's an old school fave. A bunch of Inazuma 11. 2 different Lupin movies. 3 Lupin movies. Hey, Macross Frontier, speaking of good old Uncle Carl. Mobile Suit Gundam Double Zeta. Zeta Gundam. One of the SD shorts for Gundam. Keyframes on Nana. Ride Back, which is a show I like and no one remembers. An episode of Sakura Quest. You'd like that one. Bunch of episodes of Slayers. Scrolling down a little further. Bunch of Yu-Gi-Ohs. Like, this guy has been working for decades, is what I'm saying.
Yes. Put in the work. We
are picking up. Eventually we find out it's been 3 days since the last episode. But it seems that the passengers of the sand steamer have been rescued by the bus. Good old reliable bus transit. They are to the rescue.
Now, economically, I have to wonder, how good an idea is it to run a bus on the same route as a sand steamer? Because, I mean, the sand steamer just pretty much takes up... It's a mass transit type of thing. I mean, would the bus be like for more of a local transportation thing, too? Covering the stops that the sand steamer doesn't take?
I think, like, economically, we have to think of this as like a express versus local situation, right? It's gotta be. Okay. It's gotta be. Because this show really cares about its economics. We are reminded that Millie is a bit too dumb to read social cues as she bothers Vash for bus fare and drinks all his water.
I don't know if that's dumb. I mean, some people are just, have difficulty with understanding other people, reading other people's... I don't want to say the A word, but I mean, I don't know if that was something that they would have taken into consideration. But she also just seemed to see the best in other people, as we will see in other future upcoming episodes.
Yeah. So we then see Vash spot something in the distance. We get one of my favorite lines in the show, which is just the bus driver looking at this man who is clearly dying of exposure and looks him up and down. It's like, that is one heck of a well-prepared dead guy.
And I get to see a character who apparently I have known for years.
Yes, you, con organizer guy.
The sheer volume of cosplayers carried that goddamn cross through spaces that don't have the capacity for it. Holy cow.
Speaking as a guy who has done that, I think a lot of my compatriots in the field don't actually look... They don't... The old DVDs had a bunch of character art galleries, and I made a point of comparing ratios, and it's not that wide, guys. It's just a little past your shoulder width. Should be a little taller than you and a little wider than you. You do not need to go that big. Come on.
It's more of a, I think, a contrition cross, just a thing you carry to show your devotion, and not, something that you're expecting to be racked up to someday. Just look at it that way.
This is a passion play cross Not a Pontius Pilate literally assigned you this cross this morning for your execution later, Brian. Two different sizes, man. Two different sizes. So we are introduced to Nicholas D. Wolfwood, who, in the Japanese, speaks in the Kansai dialect. And in the English, he's just played by Jeff Nimoy doing his regular voice. And that's fine, because going to compare the two.
Thank you.
Nick's dialogue is just sort of, there's a lot of wordplay, not necessarily puns, but playful language. And he's very quick, he's very goofy, he's very zany. So we have Jeff Nimoy keeping up the pace and the patter and the lighthearted tone, because I think, especially around this time, there was a lot of, well, even now, Japanese dialects, regional difference in language. Usually when those get dubbed, the localization team is like, no, we need to find like a language equivalent, like an equivalent. So in Azumanga Daioh, we have a character named Osaka. Osaka is a city in Kansai. She speaks with an Austin accent because the localizers believed Austin was a good match. A lot of times, Kansai Ben gets matched with Brooklyn. You see that in Sailor Moon. You see that in the original Yu-Gi-Oh! Right now, there's a show set in Hokkaido where a lot of the Hokkaido dialect is being reflected as either sort of Minnesota or Wisconsin. Hokkaido's up north. It's colder. So we have Minnesota and Wisconsin sort of inflections.
Every planet has a north.
Yeah, everywhere has a north. Like, there are two side characters in the show who use Letterkenny slang in the dub.
Which show is that?
So it is called Hokkaido Gals Are Super Cute. It's a teen, that's it. It's a teen romantic comedy. I'm not going to say it's high art. I am going to say it's fun and has cleavage in it. I don't know.
It just sounds like it was about to open up to a Beach Boys song.
Anyway, they drag Nick D. Wolfwood onto the bus out of the
cross gets strapped to the roof.
Yeah, it gets strapped to the roof. That matters in a second.
Point.
Important point. We get Vash and Wolfwood becoming bros via just the most aggressive, like, handshake ever. It's not the like, we've all met the white guy who insists on crushing your wrist. This is like, no, we have agreed to pump up and down as hard as possible in solidarity. And there's a lot of passive aggression as Wolfwood steals the other half of the water that Millie didn't manage to. Bus stops, presumably for bus stop related reasons. We don't need to go into how you have to bury your shit in the desert.
I'm just saying a gas station would be convenient, but it is a desert.
Yeah, we are in the wastes, so we see that Wolfwood doesn't actually have the money to pay his bus fare. Bus driver lets him off. We see Wolfwood engage in the most used Carl salesmanly version of being ostensibly Catholic. It's just, here, just donate some alms and confess while I put this box on your head.
It does make me wonder about the code of the West on planet Battlestar Galactica, because, generally you don't, I assume, this is me assuming based on things I've seen in the past, you wouldn't just leave someone in the middle of the desert. It's like, well, he can't cover the fare, but hey, priest. Secondly, just be nice. Don't leave someone to die. Settle up in town.
71-hour Ahmed, as it were, if you know your Discworld.
I'm blanking on that one, actually, but there are 41.
So that's from Jingo. That's from Jingo, and it goes back. That's a reference to, like, Bedouins in allowing for, like, 3 days of hospitality.
All right.
Yeah. And, I mean, hell, even ancient Greece, you'd get 2 days of hospitality out of anyone, or Zeus would smite you.
Guests are like fish. After 3 days, they start to stink.
Yeah, something like that. We also see Wolfwood, give away some food. He's actually genuinely nice with kids. He drops the patter. We see just actually a really good moment where it's like, oh, yeah, Vash is smiling in earnest. It's like, oh, you can smile, huh? You You are capable of feelings and goodness. We are then introduced to our new beloved new character, guy with horrible burns. We are then introduced to another set of beloved new characters, robots that give guys horrible burns.
I got a bit of a Droidica vibe off these guys.
Oh no, they predate Droidica by a year, but nah, it's a good design. I like these guys. There's some good bits to them. Someone's again, like a lot of the mechanical designs in this show, someone's really thought it through, where they have this air pressure thing that lets them hover, and they have like feet that retract to allow that to operate better. It's fun. These are fun little killer robot guys.
They are great killer robots.
So
they make a great antagonist throughout this episode.
Yeah. So we get everyone bugs out because killer robots, natural hazard of the desert.
Hit the trail.
We find out that no, in fact, one of the kids got grabbed. So in unison, Vash and Wolfwood, and I mean unison, absolutely sync movements, just jump out the window and go to rescue everybody. At which point Wolfwood
we can tell
realize,
who the protagonists are here.
Yeah, we can tell who we are meant to see are heroic. And then Wolfwood realizes that he has leapt out of the bus with nothing but his bare hands. And he still agrees to run off and fight killer robots barehanded, or I guess with a folding knife that Vash just had.
At this point, I'm thinking, is the cross just a really big gun? I got a bit of a mariachi vibe off of it. But that will reveal itself shortly.
This is something I meant to double check before recording, and I might do that on a inter-episode break. But yeah, so anyway, they find the kid. Killer robots. We see Vash and Wolfwood immediately drop into being able to read each other's moves and back each other up pretty seamlessly. This is the first time we see Vash reload the gun.
The first time he's needed to.
Well, it's the first time he's needed to. And I want to point out that, they show logistically he's just working with a speed loader. But what's interesting is that whoever's in charge of animating this episode, Mr. OY, I guess, or maybe this is part of the storyboard process, is actually counting bullets. Vash never fires more than 6.
Well, there you go.
Just want to point that out because it's really smart. I'm a guy who always counts gunshots in movies, and I it's a thing I do.
I just assume if they run out, they've just rolled poorly for that round. It's like, got to do a reload.
Beat up a bunch of robots, save a kid, then they get sucked into quicksand, and it turns out we have a big honking underground facility.
Yes, hallway full of robots.
Well, big honking atrium with all these crisscrossing things full of robots.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, and they're like, all right, well, we got to shut this down, otherwise these robots will keep doing it, because we keep seeing the robots ask people for ID, and then people are like, what do you mean? And the robots are like, well, that's not ID. They Ed 209 this. They Ed 209 this, and it's just like, oh, well, if you don't have ID, I guess I have to laser your face off.
Face lasers. Yeah, they're not great robots. I mean, now, they did not say where they come from specifically, right?
No. Just big, weird underground base.
Yeah. On Planet Deadwood.
Planet Deadwood. Planet Hell on Wheels. All right. So, we then get a weird extended gambling metaphor that I really like. I just like the banter on this scene where it's like, well, I lost $80, but I still got a bet. Well, a real man had bet the whole thing. And they just keep that gambling riff going, and I'm like, this is smart. This is fun. These guys are fun. They're a fun team. And we get to the point where it's like, all right, that's the central control for the robots. I'm going to jump in. You're going to cover me. I'm a priest. I'm a priest in a Western. I don't have any mysterious backstory or abilities that don't scan with my priestliness. What do you think this is?
And it's a good thing Vash gave him a knife at one point, because he can use it to cut the sexual tension between them.
Yeah, no, I mean, this like, obviously, big-time ship. I buy it. I buy it.
I have not gone to a triple O, but I am willing to bet that the Vash Wormwood field broad and deep.
Yeah, broad and deep. So we then get a series of scenes where Wolfwood is covering him, taking shots, Vash is doing things, and things look bad. Things look real bad, and everyone looks like they're about to die. And then we have machine gun fire, and we don't know why. We do not see what happened other than the sound of machine gun fire, and all the robots are dead.
And what happens to his arm? Is that established later on? I assume that's a plot point that will come up later. Yeah.
It's going to come up later, but you do see a smoking arm, and machine gun fire. One thing I forgot, we have the greatest blessing of all time, which is that, we just, may you go with the grace and glory of God. Does that work? Oh, it's up to us. Least Catholic thing, but very Lutheran.
I mean, judging by his outfit, I have no idea what denomination he is. I assuming it's a one that exists in interspatial space priest.
Yeah. This is it. He is a Reformed and a Protestant or something. Anyway, Vash breaks into the central controls, shuts it off. How does he know how to do that? Who knows? We get a scene where the girls, having, I guess, also jumped off the bus, rescue them. By rescue, they mean they jump. They just dump a bunch of rubble on top of the guys.
And they have to back him up, which is, God bless him.
God bless him. And then
Derringer, girl.
Yeah, everyone gets back on the bus. Everyone gets to May City, and we have the scene where it takes 4 guys to lift this cross. That
because
Nick
it's so full of mercy.
Yeah, Nick can just catch it quite handily. That won't matter later, probably.
Now I do notice that May City is spelled 2 different ways on the sign.
Oh well, I mean,
M-A-Y and M-E-I.
Yeah, we're also get to, I think the next episode we're going to see Stampede spelled 3 different ways. So, these guys are very happy to use English, text English, but they're not, Google was not there yet. There was no Google in 1998, and certainly not Google Translate to help them.
I would like to point out the millions of Western guys with Japanese tattoos on who are probably just hiding their face right now going, well, I just don't think that really we have to be 100% every time. It can, it's the spirit of the thing, correct? Yes, of course. Ha, ha, ha. It stands for affluence. No, it doesn't. It stands for a bowl of chicken soup.
Yeah. Look, my favorite one is still the guy who... The best one is still the guy whose tattoo says, I don't know, I don't speak Chinese. Look, if maybe, I think people are switching to Arabic and Sanskrit tattoos for their cultural appropriation needs, which means I think I need a hummus recipe tattoo.
God,
hummus recipes are pretty short. That helps.
Yes. Just include a line that says, no fucking chocolate, Effendi.
Look, as a guy who maybe breaks the rules and enjoys roasted garlic or roasted red peppers in his hummus once in a while, no.
I'm 100% in favor of that. I'll allow that.
Yeah, those make sense to me, but when you go to chocolate or the dill pickle powder you get on chips just mixed in, I think we're too far. I think we're too far now. Sun-dried
Honestly,
tomatoes?
if you want to use dill
use
pickle brine instead of lemon juice, I can see that as suitable acid substitute. Once again, I think we've gone a little off course.
We are off course. We are mid-episode because we are now on to episode 10, Quick Draw. This episode directed by Shoji Yabushita, who worked on Cardcaptor Sakura and Sister Princess. These are major director roles, obviously a bunch of storyboard and keyframe credits in between. And We open with Vash's monologue, normally reserved for the next episode previews. Normally. Something I think I've brought up before, but something that I want to highlight that's just continuing to hit me on rewatching it now, is this show is very good about playing with perspective in a way that anime doesn't always do. Anime tends to adopt like a fly-on-the-wall perspective more often than not. But here, each episode, and even scene to scene, they're very deliberately deciding who is our perspective character. So for now, our perspective character is Vash, which is rare, because the first 5 episodes were mostly from Meryl's perspective. And we've been bouncing around ever since, like a lot of episode 8 was from the perspective of the kid. So we are now fully in Vash's head, and Vash establishes that he is not a gunman. He is a goofball. He is an absolute goofball. He has pretensions of depth, but he also admits that he just isn't committed to it. So he just makes breakfast. He hangs out with children. He tries to pick up girls. He does the tomato sauce trick yet again.
Yeah.
Foreshadowing is a device in which...
Chekhov's ketchup bottles.
Yeah, so he's hanging out with some kids, because I guess he can just hang out with kids. He can just be a big goof and help the neighborhood children not be in trouble or something.
Vash is friend to all children, Scott.
Yes. Him and Gamera. Gamera also known for mass destruction on the public property. We are introduced to another kid, Neil, who does not hang out with kids anymore. We're about to find out why. Meryl comes down the stairs to nag Vash to act like an adult, even though I'm pretty sure her job is to make sure he doesn't cause harm to any buildings her company insures. So literally, if he wants to just if he wants to catcall women and hang out with small children, that's a win for the Bernardellis, I think. Like, he's not knocking over buildings. He's not shooting anyone.
Anything that doesn't involve damage above someone's deductible, they should consider that an absolute win.
Yeah, like I think Millie is about ready to say, like, no, this is good for business. This is good for business. Yeah. We see a bit from Neil's perspective. He sees a kid and his dad being happy, and it's like, oh man, I sure do wish I had a dad I could be happy with. And then Vash pesters Neil into taking him to his work, where his mom is, I guess, just makes fried rice all day. Restaurant that only does fried rice.
Nice work if you can get it.
Wolfwood is frying the rice out of the goodness of his heart, and also he's trying to possibly date Neil's mom, who is established as pretty. Yasai, I think, is the word we're going to use from Japanese, as opposed to...
I was wondering what the translation of that would be. Just a certain type of pretty?
It is a specific type of, like, homey, supportive, like... It's housewifely hot. It's pretty but housewifely is how I'll describe it.
Oh, there you go.
That's the good way to describe it. It is emotionally supportive, homebody, but still good looking.
Yummy mummy in English, you think that would be an accurate...
I think yummy mummy is a little too close to, like, yoga pants and not actually doing housework, kind of.
True.
Like, my read on Yummy Mummy, and this is me, like, talking about suburban UK white affluent shit, is like, no, a Yummy Mummy is someone who goes to yoga and pays someone else to do housework.
So we're looking for a very domestic woman who is still conventionally attractive.
Yes, I think that's our goal.
All right.
I will link to an essay about the word, maybe, in the show notes, if I remember.
Yes, please.
Yeah. Anyway, turns out Neil's mom...
Surely someone has composed a 2-hour YouTube video about the concept and its place within Japanese cultural histories.
Hopefully.
And if not, I have just conjured it out of the ether. It is just going to happen.
Anime video essayists are not as good as other video essayists. I'm just going to say it. I'm going to say it.
Say what you believe, man.
Yeah.
We're not here to cut any corners.
In the comments, tell me an anime video essayist who isn't just mad about things all the time. It turns out that Neil's mom, who doesn't have a name, no name for Neil's mom.
Is that how she's credited in the video at the end of the
pretty
episode?
sure.
Neil's mom.
I'm pretty sure she's. If I look up the cast list, she's just gonna be Neil's mom. Anyway, her husband,
the widow Neil's mom.
Neil's dad has left the restaurant, leaving it deeply in debt. She is being put upon by debt collectors. Wolfwood is trying to help, but fortunately, there is a gunfighting competition. A thing that... God, did that happen? That can't be a real thing. It is just...
It just strikes me as a bad idea on a bunch of levels, because people, I mean, there weren't a lot of... I mean, I don't know what the demographics are, but you don't want to kill that many people, and there's not...
You're not going to build up a circuit. Like, you're not going to build up a circuit
Yes.
or a profession of this. Like, gladiator fights were mostly about doing bad things to prisoners and occasionally pro wrestling with swords. Occasionally.
And some wild animals.
Definitely abusing wild animals. Wild animals. I mean, I love Sam Raimi's The Quick and the Dead, the most anime movie Hollywood has ever made. But that's I don't think that's based on a real thing. I think that's just something people made up for dime novels. Anyway, there's
but on Planet Virginian, this is a thing that happens.
Yes, on Planet Have Gun Will Travel, this is a thing you can do.
On Planet Little House on the Prairie. Oh God, I just burned the good one. Damn it.
Damn it. We have like so many more episodes to go, and I think you definitely wasted Planet Little House on the Prairie. There's an episode where it's you would be sad.
Oh.
You would be sad to know. Anyway, so Wolfwood has already signed Vash up. Vash the Stampede with a T in the because we're talking about 8 people spelling in English to do this. To do this contest, and Wolfwood makes up for this by offering him so much booze. Definitely a thing you want to give someone before a contest of timing and dexterity.
Now, is Wolfwood trying to get him killed? Is that the plan, or is it just like these guys are just idiots, and it's like, hey, we're having fun. Let's get really drunk the day before we're going to start shooting at one another. In a professional way.
I am going to not answer that question.
Okay.
Because it might matter later. But I want you to remember me not answering this in a few episodes. Vash has also signed Wolfwood up because A, turnabout is fair play, and B, well, 2 guys have a better chance of winning. We also see that the organizers are up to something, including, like, one of the mayor's goons might be the same sheriff as episode 4.
Or just not that many faces.
It might just be limited animation, but it's like, did that guy, like, just become a corrupt sheriff in a different town in the intervening weeks?
Also, good work if you can get it.
Good work if you can get it, if you can be a scummy sheriff. That's how you advertise it on...
The scummy sheriff circuit is, just moving town to town. Yeah,
on Planet Wild Wild West, you just... you just... A mayor can always advertise for a crummy sheriff. We see that there is an elimination round of shooting bottles. Precious antique bottles.
My precious antique bottles!
And then a second round of just, no, we're gonna shoot each other. Vash is apparently so good at this that he can just throw rocks to interrupt bullets, which means he's throwing the rocks before the shot is fired, and I'm like, this is anime, so I'll say yes, but like, we are introduced to Backwards Guy, whose whole trick is that
was clever.
Now, it's good, but also, like, he had to do the bottles round. So did he, like, wander off and turn his clothes around? Or did he do bottles round backward and everyone was like, oh, he's just showing off?
I'm going to assume he took a bathroom break and just switched around at that point.
We get a montage of people not dying, but people shooting things, including a great scene of Vash just suplexing a guy. I guess he didn't even bother to fire a shot. He just dodged all the bullets and baned this dude.
Many flesh wounds.
Many flesh wounds. We see a doctor. It's like, oh, great year for me. Undertaker, not pictured, very angry. So we get to the finals. It's Wolfwood, Vash the Stampede, spelled right this time. And it's like, well, Wolfwood is, I'll just quit. You know, I retire. I don't want to die.
Yeah.
And then the mayor is like, no, you see, I am a corrupt, sleazy mayor. You may have noticed this. And I will prove my corruption and sleaziness because I somehow have already kidnapped the people you care about. And I will shoot them if you don't go through with this. But if you go through with this, I will also be so kind as to give you absurd money. Half the bounty. This guy could be meaner and the show would still work. It'd just be like, no, you're going to do this and I'll give you the 50 and I'll keep the 60 billion. It's great. I won. They somehow are able to, I don't know, via the same psychic synchro thing that they had going before, that they will take care. They will just fake the gunfight, and they just, you know, fire some bullets around and then fall over and it's like, oh, everyone's dead. Great. I, the corrupt mayor, have won again, as corrupt mayors always do. And the goons show up, and it's like, oh no, they have done the tomato juice trick, the classic tomato juice trick that only works on
corrupt mayors. Not particularly bright guys.
Yeah, no, they are hired goons.
There seem to be a lot of dudes up on the roof and on the street.
This is a lot of goons. This is a lot.
What's the overhead on that sort of thing?
Oh, like, are they on retainer? Is it hourly? What's the deal here? Yeah. What do they eat? So anyway, our boys get up.
Fried rice.
Yeah, exactly. Our boys get up, they begin shooting, and Millie launches the cross at Wolfwood. I did double check. Desperado was 1995, which means absolutely makes sense for this to be a Desperado reference. Because, the cross is full of guns. It's full of guns. Full
of guns.
So Wolfwood just keeps pulling out and guns akimboing 1911s, and just everyone stands still as he just fires guns akimbo, shouting like a madman. And now that once all the goons are dead, Corrupt Mayor is like, yeah, I'll just pay you to go away now. He's ahead of the game because he doesn't have to pay for goons anymore.
His goon budget just got slashed, so he doesn't even need to do the end of year layoffs.
Oh yeah, like he doesn't have to pay out the quarterly bonus. The goon insurance, the goon insurance fund, way up.
Yes.
He
goon dental expenditures way down.
Oh yeah, no, like the entire goon ecosystem, it's really good for him. and so, you know, they pay off Neil's mom's debt. And who should show up but Neil's dad, who is also ready to pay off his debt. Aww. And I'm going to introduce an idea here. Neil's dad got a lot of money real fast. Is he a bad lad? Is this just his cut of the casino heist?
Oh, God.
What did Neil's dad do?
Oh, no. Is this something that we're going to have to deal with later on down the road? Or are you just putting doubt and pain in my heart?
No, these people never come back.
Okay. There's only so many recurring characters.
Yeah, only so many recurring characters. So we now flip to the next episode, Escape from Pain, directed by Yoshihide Kuriyama, who worked on Strungle. Strungle is a real title. He worked on Die Ruger 15, which you might know as Vehicle Voltron.
Oh, okay.
And a bunch of episodes of Urusei Yatsura. And we are Now we're now in Wolfwood's perspective. It is now Wolfwood's episode, and we find ourselves waiting at a caravan at some sort of geyser thing. I guess this is they don't explain the geysers. They just say, "Oh yeah, we're on the geyser stretch of the Dune Sea now, and we just have to wait this out." Sucks, but here we are. Wolfwood is now hustling chess for money. He's bad at it.
Someone else is. The kitty shows up.
The kitty shows up. Kitty's in every episode. And we see that Wolfwood is about ready to get out of his bet for chess by just beating this man senseless and running away. Which I guess is, just part of the doctrine of the planet, the interplanetary Anna-Protestants Reform Branch.
Do unto others before they can do unto you.
Millie is also in this bar, insisting that she could get pudding, and I'm like, bar owner's
desirous of pudding.
Bar owner's like, we don't have pudding. He has a wall of sausages behind him. But no pudding.
I mean, it's entirely possible the pudding is just stored in a different room, and she's getting on his nerves. Just spitballing there.
Yeah,
because she does some of the own hustling too.
Yeah, it turns out she's just good at chess. She makes a move for like Wolfwood.
James Kirk level.
James Kirk. Two-dimensional chess is too easy. Just how it is. We get a bit of her backstory where she explains that she's the youngest of 10 children.
So they're just Catholic.
Yeah.
Which explains her attraction to a priest.
Yeah, there's that. The bar had a scene with the terrible dancing girl. We are then introduced to the terrible dancing girl running away. There are goons. They beat up the goons. They just wreck the goons. We then see Millie able to carry an entire person wrapped around their waist. Let's not talk about that. Just the classic fake pregnancy bump gambit, but it is an 80-pound human being. This is not like the drug smuggling baby bump. This is the human trafficking baby bump.
Millie's torso is strength, her core strength.
Oh, so much core strength. So much core strength.
Tote that woman around.
So we are then given a whole bunch of exposition, and what matters is that this entire episode is contrived in such a way that Wolfwood believes that the actions of our guest characters will result in the deaths and harms of people, and everyone else is like, no, maybe we can be optimistic about that. It's a very contrived moral dilemma, and Wolfwood is insisting.
I was curious. I'm like, so how does the air running away lead to the death of everyone in the caravan?
Also, okay, so the actual thing is so the caravan master's son, who is not his actual biological son, has this fancy tattoo to prove he is real. This is their passage papers. This is it. This guy is their passport. And without this guy, the caravan will not be let in, which will lead to the caravan having to sell their goods somewhere else, or just die, I guess. Or maybe it's that the people in the town that depend on the goods the caravan has will suffer waiting for a second caravan to be arranged. Not totally clear.
It is. The word contrivance seems to be actually very generous.
Yeah, it is only here to establish that Wolfwood is a cynic and everyone else is an optimist. And what I think is interesting is that this show is very much... We're about to get to the point where this show is about cynicism versus optimism, but it presents multiple cynicisms and multiple optimisms, because we have seen Meryl's cynicism, and we see a bit of it here, where she is cynical about everything but Vash. And we see Meryl's completely naive optimism, and we see Vash's sort of sneaky optimism come in. And Wolfwood is just here too cynical to admit an alternate possibility. What's happening is that, all right, this caravan, as much as it provides needed goods to an entire municipality, is also running people. or person, one person. They are doing a single sex trafficking, probably, per route, per run, I guess. The son, who is the only way to prove that they are the actual valid caravan, is like, no, I do not want to do a human trafficking, and I want to take this person and run away with her to be my love. And this rescue complex is not presented as maybe also a little human trafficking, which is, as a theme, it can be. It can be. Sometimes your rescuer can be your abuser, but that's not what this show's about.
That would be too dark. Oh my god.
It's super dark, and it would be like a 3-parter to explain that. But it's like, no, new characters, unambiguously good. They want good things. They want to run off in the desert together and just set up I don't know, sell shoes or something.
And the whole thing about sort of the only mark of passage being a tattoo on one guy on a planet where we know bad stuff can happen quite frequently.
Like you could just have documents, letters of passage. They're ancient. They're normal.
Properly set up paperwork.
Just have a weird, cool seal. Have a secret handshake. Fuck. Right?
Yes, a secret handshake.
The point is that Wolfwood doesn't believe this can be done in a way that doesn't hurt people. The caravan owner is like, well, I guess I need you, Vash the Stampede, to be a bad guy here. And Vash puts on his sunglasses and says, yes, I will be a bad guy. And he wears the sunglasses the entire time. They're very careful to animate it where they don't really show his irises through the glasses. That's a signal. Anyway, some things happen. Millie continues to be optimistic. Wolfwood is maybe realizing that he could be optimistic, possibly, probably, maybe. Eventually, Vash catches up to him. Well, all of the goons, all the caravan's goons, not missing out on their chance to get, fresh new opportunities in goonmanship in May City. They've all stayed with the caravan. They're like, all right, well, we are going to surround these 2 teenagers and threaten them with death. And Vash is like, but you see, I will shoot them. And he just fires 2 rounds into them. A geyser goes off, and everyone's like, oh shit, man, you just killed our meal ticket. Yeah, well, I was told to do that. And the goons are like, despite having been deprived a meal ticket, are amenable to this. The most amenable of goons. Maybe that's why they couldn't get work in May.
Yes. I mean, it's like he said, I didn't get told not to kill them. And I'm like, I'm going to have to go look at the briefing because it seems like that would have been top of the list.
Alive or dead is the thing you tell bounty hunters really early. Really early. Yeah. Like, no disintegrations. Fine.
Yes. As you wish.
It turns out that Vash has not shot these children. He's only exposed them to scalding hot water and hit them with a rubber bullet. And he turns over his briefcase full of money to the kids to be like, I don't know, just here you go, sell shoes or something.
Turns out the geysers are in fact tepid.
Yeah, they
couldn't even make a good cup of tea out of them.
Yeah, people they established that the geysers are scalding hot, but we never see anyone get burns. We just see that you have to maybe pull your jacket over your head. I don't know. It's these people don't have hot showers, so maybe this is just how I set my shower, and it was like, oh, that's very dangerous. Yeah. No, this is just how I shower. Come on, guys.
Get in there. It's warm. It's cozy. Come on.
And we have learned a valuable lesson about maintaining hope in the face of really weird-ass contrived scenarios. This episode is thematically important, but they should have written it better. They're about to write it better eventually, but fuck. Just stupid.
Thematically important, narratively, a little wobbly.
Very wobbly.
Rattly on the tracks there.
Anyway, Wolfwood rides off into the sunset. And before I completely leave
on a motorbike. So sexy.
It's a vintage Harley. He has somehow secured headlamp covers that are cross-shaped. Cause Planet Gunsmoke is a place that embraces style. It embraces style.
Planet Harley Davidson and the Marlboro Man.
Yeah. One thing I want to jump back to is that partway through the gunfight, we see someone's shoes as Wolfwood is about to announce something. That won't matter later, but That's just something from last episode I wrote down and meant to.
Okay.
Yeah, we just see a shot shown from the perspective of someone else's shoes. For no reason, I swear. Anyway, Wolfwood rides off into the sunset and we get the credits.
I don't know if you're being serious or not.
Look, you don't... Okay, in animation, you don't get anything for free.
True.
Which means you have to specify everything. So if you say you're going to show a scene from the perspective of someone's shoes standing on a rooftop, that means something. But yes, this is something that I find fascinating about animation, is that everything is a very deliberate choice, often involving 5 people. So like this episode also has a bunch of recycled shots from episode 1 and 2. Just close-ups of Vash, close-ups of the guns, all these things. And that's a deliberate decision to save money, but it's also, we are back to, these are shots of Vash that are meant to seem cool and distant, the way Vash was cool and distant in those episodes until they broke the character for the joke. And there's no joke here.
Yeah.
They are just using those same shots, and it's like, oh, he's in cool, distant mode because he doesn't want to let on he's doing a scheme. And Meryl pulls a gun on him to be like,
yes,
you can't kill people. That'll come out of the insurance for this caravan, presumably. And Vash doesn't blink, and she says, you're up to something. I'm cynical. My cynicism is broken enough to believe in you. So, and we don't see the scene where he explains what he's about to do with the rubber bullets and the geysers. But she does, but we see that she's on board with it.
I think she needs to learn to trust him. I said, Wolfwood and Millie, no faith in Vash. None.
Yeah.
They think he would just murder those kids. We know by now he wouldn't do that.
It's weird Millie doesn't believe in Vash, because she's the first.
Yeah, I think at this point she's kind of like, gotten a whiff of what this Wolfwood could be. And, I mean, I'm just speculating. There seems to be a blossoming romance between them. Or just a close companionship, a good friendship, men and women can be friends.
Well,
in the desert.
I mean, I think we also see the scene where they start feeding Millie booze.
Yes.
And she does that thing like some people who don't drink often, or even just the nature of their circulation, it hits their face first and they feel hot. And Millie just starts, we don't see what she takes off, but she starts taking off clothes, and like you get the oh, go big girl from Wolfwood. And I'm like Jeff Nimoy sells that line so much better than the Japanese guy.
Allow me to just make a personal, I don't know if it's an admission or confession, just a statement. I tried subs this time. I gave it a shot. And yeah, when you mentioned that Wolfwood has a dialect, I'm like, really? No idea. I have no idea what that is supposed to be. So I'm going back to dubbing next time. The sub was an interesting experience. But, yes. So I have no idea what Wolfwood's supposed to sound like in Japanese or what he actually sounds like in English. So that'll be a full experience. I presume he's coming back. I presume he's going to be a regular. I saw he was in the opening credits a while back. And
yeah.
They change the opening credits every time. I'm learning that.
Yeah. So this is actually a thing I want to talk about a little because I haven't mentioned it so far and I feel bad for not doing it. But so
shame.
Yeah, I know. All right. So when it aired in Japan, there were certain shots of certain portions of the opening credits that were left blank, and different shots would be put in for each episode. So you'd see a bit of a villain or a bit of an action scene that was relevant to the episode. When it aired on Toonami and the home video, the first 2 home video releases, those weren't in there. It was just the episode 1 credits every time.
Well, that removes a vital part of the experience.
I again, watching it now, I'm not skipping the intros. I don't skip intros anymore. I'm going to say it. I don't. I'm going to be a weird guy who says, no, I don't click skip intro. Just let it ride.
Skip intro is it's a very useful tool, but sometimes they tell you things in the intros, or you get an intro just as good as Peacemaker was.
I mean, also, it's a pacing tool. It is a pacing tool. Some directors use it actually. Yeah. So no, that's a thing that's kind of new to me for this time around. It's like, no, oh, okay. So these are the scenes they're picking to highlight this episode. That's fun.
Plus the guitar.
Oh,
No,
okay.
that's
I
just
mean, again, Imahori, the entire score up and down is good. In episode 11, we get another scene where they drop the soundtrack as Vash is approaching the line of goons, and it's just the sound of the geysers not about to pop, like letting the sound of the water pressure be the sound of the pressure building. Ah, so good. Nishimura, so good at not using music, actually.
the best part of someone using a tool is when they know not to use the tool.
Exactly. So, this man's name is Nicholas D. Wolfwood. What do you think D stands for?
Delightful? Dangerous? Douglas? I don't know. There's...
All right. Sometimes, so in interviews, the author Yasuhiro Naitao, sometimes he says it's dangerous. Sometimes he says, and I'm gonna need a minute to say this because I'm gonna get it wrong. It's Doko no kumi no monjowaru sumika nishisetsu usuzi metoro karakora.
Sure.
Yeah, which is obviously, if you said that in actual Japanese as opposed to muddling through it, it is, what the hell family do you think you are from? I am going to tie you up in a reed map and dunk ya, which is just a Kanzai expression for bugger off.
Okay.
You're rude and I don't like you.
I'm going to assume that was a very clever joke.
Yeah.
He's tired of people asking him what the name of the character is.
Yeah, like I think there's a different interview where he says, "Oh no, it's the D is for lists." Again, all in one word. The personnel of a band, and just the first guy's name was Daisuke or something.
The D stands for the lyrics of "We Didn't Start the Fire" by Billy Joel.
The D stands for "It sounds cool." God damn it!
Yes.
Just like
See,
how
they don't even have to have they don't need a period after it. Just Nicholas D, the letter D.
Yeah, just the letter D. All right.
Yes, I'm enjoying where this show is going. I am liking the journey. I love the brevity of the storytelling. They tell a complete story within every most 30 minutes, except for that one period last week.
Yeah.
But they are including a continuing arc.
So I'm just going to say that, hey, if you like this, give us a review, give us a rating, tell a friend. Buy a 1/8 scale ArtFX Nicholas D. Wolfwood statue, because it's really cool looking, I assure you. It's from Kotobukiya, it's from HLJ.com, or you can visit HLJ.com for any of your statue, bottle kit, and toy needs.
Are there any articulated Nicholas D. Wolfwood figures? Is there a hot toy version?
Like, right now, there's nothing for sale. There was a really great Reveltech. McFarlane Toys did a really good, almost a full line, actually, from McFarlane Toys that I think are sadly out of print. And we'll talk about Todd McFarlane and this show next month, actually.
Oh, I am so looking forward to that. I have stories to tell about Todd.
Well, I'm glad you're here for that.
Stories, I just have strong opinions.
Yeah, well... Todd is a guy. Todd is a guy. But if you want to find out about how Todd McFarlane fits into Trigun, more than you think, more than just licensing toys, you got to come back for our next exciting episode. See ya.
God, you made me giddy. Giddy.